Chris, they think we haven't seen The Lion King. There are no apes in The Lion King. There's not one ape. There's a baboon, Rafiki. He is actually central to the story, but there's not one ape in the movie. So let's just be for real right now. It is not racist because it is offensive. It is offensive because it is inherently racist. The trope about depicting black people as animals goes all the way back to white Europeans looking for a justification for colonization and the enslavement of African people. And it gained prominence in the 1700s and 1800s, and it became a racial, like a scientific theory. I'm using air quotes. And it was a mainstream theory that put a hierarchy that said white Europeans were at the top and Africans were at the bottom. And depiction of apes was very central to this theory. They were at the bottom. They were closer to primitive beings such as apes. Therefore, black people, specifically in that time, Africans, were better suited for forced labor and domination. So it is racist because the root of this theory, this trope, this joke, okay, that the White House is talking about, is rooted in the ability to dominate, pillage, and inflict violence upon black people.
So America is outraged because President Donald Trump on his, his X feed posted a video depicting the Lion King, people from the Democratic Party, former President Obama and his wife Michelle dressed up as apes, right? He had a whole bunch of other people in the party dressed up as animals, but the focal point that was mainly seen was the Obamas as apes, right? And he was saying that there was a mistake. The world wants him to apologize. He says that he's not apologizing. And black Americans are incensed. Black Americans are outraged. And I'm saying, for what? What are you angry for? I'm more confused at my own people because why are you upset and why are you outraged? This is America. What more has this W man have to do to show you who he is? He's never going to change who he is. He's who he is. I'm shocked that y'all shocked. What you was expecting them to change? What you was expecting better from them? Why? This is the same man that said grab him by the you know what. This is the same man that's calling black countries poop hole countries and all kinds of wild unpresidential stuff, right? He's been doing this. He's been doing it. So why are you shocked? Now, you know, they're trying to say, well, there was other people that was depicted as animals, but we know the history of this country and calling blacks primates. So why did the Obamas have to be monkeys? Why could they be depicted as giraffes or anything else? Why was they depicted as monkeys? Because we knew what you was trying to do. I'm not upset or shocked because I already expect this from the W man. Knowing the history of our people in this country, why would I expect anything less? This is what they do. Whether it's right wing or left wing, they both do it, right? So let's go look at what the news is reporting in regards to this.
Deleted a racist video on social media. The video, which we are not showing, placed the former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama's faces on the bodies of apes. While speaking with reporters on Air Force One yesterday, President Trump said he didn't see the final parts of the offensive video.
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, and I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine. It was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it, and probably they would have had the sense to take it down.
The incident is drawing strong backlash from both Democrats and many Republicans. Republican Senator Tim Scott wrote it was the most racist thing he has seen from the White House. Maryland Governor Wes Moore called it blatant racism, saying it relied on imagery long used to demean and dehumanize black people. We also heard from Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey.
It is racist. It's shocking. It's sickening. You know, and we should all be disgusted by it. But I think we also need to make sure we're not distracted by it as well.
The video was up for about 12 hours before it was removed.
So why you all upset wanting him to apologize? He's not the only president that talked this way. LBJ was a big-time racist. President Truman was a racist. All of them was hard. I mean, they have racist quotes all over the place on what they said about the Negro people, right? We already know our long and mighty road. and what we've been through. I'm more upset in my own people, you out there, because you are shocked. Why are you upset? Being upset means that you had expectations that they would exhibit different behavior. So you shouldn't be upset. You should expect this from them, whether it's the right or the left, because the left is racist too, right? Both of them are. They have just different approaches as to the way they approach you psychologically, right? But nonetheless, they are on the same team, and I've been saying this. So this wasn't done by an accident, man. This was done to get you riled up the way that you just the way you are, right? But let me show you how this is nothing new. Let's go back to 1971 with Ronald Reagan and President Nixon at the time, when Ronald Reagan called Africans monkeys, right? And they talked about them with no shoes, and it was, let's just go back and let's revisit this.
Recordings have surfaced of a phone conversation nearly a half-century ago between President Richard Nixon and future President Ronald Reagan. The recordings were released by the National Archives, and they capture the two men using racist language. Here's White House correspondent.
After talking with Reagan, Nixon called Secretary of State William Rogers and adopted Reagan's racist language.
He saw these, as he said, these cannibals on television last night, and he said they weren't even wearing shoes, and he says here the United States is going to submit its fate to that.
Later that month, Nixon laughed at these comments from his best friend, Bibi Rebozo.
You know, that reaction on television proves how they ought to be still hanging from the trees by the tail.
Even in 1971, that language would have shocked the general public. President Trump has, of course, come under fire for his racist tweets, but he said yesterday he is the least racist person there is in the world.
So as you can see, that's 1971. That's your governor, and that's your president. And they call them all kinds of primates and savages and don't wear no shoes and everything. But those Africans, when they come to America or go to Europe, they can't wait to sniff some W cooch. They can't wait to go over there and get a W man. But that's the way that they view you, right? A lot of you out here, Byron Donald, and a lot of y'all talk about we don't need reparations and everything, but you over there talking about restoring how the black family was, but you got a W woman. Y'all love them W folks. So now when you're Trump, when your president says something like this, now you're outraged. Now you're so hurt. Now you're this. Come on, man. You ain't like y'all not fooling me. I'm not, listen, I'm nothing. Because I expect this from them every single day. This is who they are. This is what they do. They're not changing. That's why they have the MAGA Make America Great Again. What are they saying when they say that? We don't, listen, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's to the point now on News Nation, you got these W folks arguing on behalf of us, knowing darn well that they agree with the president. Right? You know how we know? Because in this country, our image to this day still wasn't protected, to the point where we got to come out and delineate and separate ourselves and name and claim ourselves. Because you people have listen, check this out.
To call him a racist or to imply that he is one based on that video is very disingenuous and lacking context.
Well, too bad. Because let me tell you something. If you don't want somebody to call you that, then you don't do things like this. He didn't show Biden and everybody else. They just showed the Obama part. So it doesn't matter what it clicks and scrolls to.
But they didn't do it on purpose,
This is an unforced
Chris, which
error.
is the issue. It is an unforced error, but that's very different than being vindictive about it and doing it on purpose. It is an unforced error.
Well,
it's very
give
different
me a good
than
reason.
Purposely clipping it to show that.
Well, first of all, it was absolutely purposely clipped to show the Obama part. It was just part of a much bigger video. That's not the beginning. Well, it's not the beginning of the video.
It was an automatic scroll.
It's not the first thing you would see.
It was an automatic, right, because it's the end of the video, which automatically scrolled into the next video. That's what happened.
Oh, no, I know. I understand how buffering and queuing works. What I'm saying is somebody made a choice.
It wasn't a vindictive portrayal of the Obamas.
You call it what you want.
And what happened.
And let me tell you something. If I do something like that, if I did that, first of all, I'd probably get fired. But if I did that, guess what people would call me? A bigot. You know why? That's a bigoted thing.
And you know what's funny? Even one of the #1 butt kissers of W supremacy, Stephen A. Snitch, he even he has to come out now and speak this way, right? Because the world is upset. But Stephen A. Snitch, he took to his show and said this.
I just wanted to address this subject And that's essentially involving the President Donald Trump posting a video depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. I'm going to say that again. Depicting the first black president in United States history and the first black first lady in United States history as apes, monkeys. In the year 2026, that has happened. Now, before I go into it, let me say this. The White House says that it wasn't the president's fault. Even though the video has been removed from the president's Truth Social account, the guy in the White House, using his administration to tell you he had nothing to do with a post that has his fingerprints and his smell and his stench written all over it. That's who we're talking about here. And that same man must be universally condemned for having his platform associated with such an insulting, classless, despicable post that was on his platform for 12 hours. Anybody who doesn't speak against him on this is complicit. You're telling us what you think about black people. Plain and simple. There is no way around this. This requires universal condemnation. Doesn't mean he's going to leave office. But it could mean that we need others in office during the midterm that aren't necessarily on the right, so more checks and balances can take place. And perhaps, dare I say, he'll be a bit more guarded from doing nonsense like this, because, again, I believe he is guilty of this. Do I have proof? No. But I've told y'all on many occasions, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. It's what it is. His behavior, his tendencies, his rhetoric, his petulance, his belligerence, all fall in line with what we're talking about right now. Do you want to be associated with that or not?
So I say this in closing, man. Listen, man. Stop having expectations in these people to change and being so outraged when they display racist behavior. We need to be on FBA business. We need to be doing what we need to do for ourselves despite them. Our ancestors triumphed in this country despite them. They fought and accomplished things despite them. We have worldwide inventions and innovations despite them. So we still going to move on despite them. I expect them to be who they are. I have no expectations of them changing. I expect them to be liars. I expect them to depict us in the worst possible way they ever can. The way that they did the foundational black Americans and the way that they did the Africans on the continent. They are always going to depict us in the worst light that they ever can, because their lifestyle is predicated on you being at the bottom. You have to be at the bottom physically, mentally, psychologically, in every aspect, right, for them to remain in power. So yes, they're going to take the Obamas and going to depict them as monkeys and apes and primates and all that kind of stuff, and then you go get in your feelings and get upset, and I'm looking at you side-eye because I'm questioning your loyalty to black people. Why are you upset at something these W folks done and all the things that they ever done to us? Why are you mad, right? You should expect this from them. You should look at that, tip your cap and say, oh, that's the best you got? Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that W supremacy is leaking oil. The ship is sinking, right? Listen, over here, we ain't mad at them at all because I expect them to do this. What we doing is we pushing forward despite, because they are who they always been. The Pirates of the Caribbean, the original Jack Sparrows, it's these people. They came and did these things and plundered and destroyed and stole. Yes, the original pirates are running the show. They've been running the show. Jack Sparrow was in office, right? And you have his minions on the radical right and the radical left. But make no mistake about it, they are all pirates. And we know when we know, since we've encountered them, what they have done. So don't be shocked. Don't be upset. Don't be angry. Get back on FBA business, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, and leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love you all. Till the next time. Peace.